Hey guys, what is going on? And welcome back to another episode of the Bundesliga Career Mode. It's episode number 79, and today we're returning with a series finale on the back of our Champions League win over Arsenal. That's the Europa Conference League background, EA. Our Champions League win over Arsenal with a one last final look at the save episode where I'll show you under the hood of the save and show you things in more detail. So loads to get through in the series finale. Let's just get right to it. So no other place than to start with what happened on the pitch this season in what was my most dominant season of FIFA Career Mode in many years. I can't remember a season like this where I truly dominated, really from start to finish. Although, of course, it was a little bit bitter towards the end, where, as you can see in the Bundesliga, after winning the title by a whopping 22 points, it's crazy to think on the final day it felt like we lost the title, because we didn't, we retained it. But we did miss out on not only setting, but also equaling the points record. We won 29 of our 34 games, but our end to the season was a bit of a bottle. We drew with Bayern, we drew with Borussia Mönchengladbach, and then on the final day, we lost to Leipzig away, where all we needed was a point to equal Bayern's record of 91, and a win would have seen me set the record, something I'd never done in FIFA Career Mode before. Yeah, I think you could tell come towards the end of that episode, I was gutted about that, man. I was devastated. I talked about it before, there's very few things that are sort of still left for me to do, if you know what I mean, in major European leagues and FIFA Career Mode. I've done a lot of things, because I've been making FIFA Career Mode videos and saves for over 10 years now. Of course, naturally, I've done an awful lot of things. But one thing I've never done is set the points record in the Bundesliga. I would never had a better chance to do it in this season after the dominance we had. Going, I think it was, like 30 games unbeaten after losing on match day 4. And obviously, I bottled it. Simple as that. But unfortunately, just one of those things. Could have won a quadruple this year as well. How he won the Super Cup at the start of the season, but even so, I wasn't too disappointed about that. But I'll show you the Europa Conference League, though. What happened this year, it was Utrecht who beat Stade Rennais in the final by 3-2. The Europa Conference League is always fascinating to look at year after year, seeing who win it and whether big teams fell into it. The Europa League this year was won by Manchester United. We, of course, won it 2 years ago. Wow, they beat the best team in Europa League history, Sevilla, by 2-0 in the final. And who won the Champions League? Oh yeah, Arminia Bielefeld, first of the save in what was a dominant Champions League campaign, where we won every single game apart from one. The only game we failed to win was the first leg of our Champions League last 16 trip to the San Siro. Every other game was a win. We were dominant in Europe this year. So we're now going to do one final look at the Bielefeld team and what we leave the Schuka Arena with. I have to say, the youngsters come out of the academy, very exciting, but mostly the goalkeepers. I mean, they're incredible. They're incredible. We've got 5 extraordinary goalkeepers with potential tags. It's unbelievable. And this guy's growing like crazy out on loan right now. But of course, Zach Steffen, who we bought in from Man City, what a signing he proved to be. Winning the Golden Glove this year. First time I did it in the save. 18 clean sheets in 34 speaks for itself. He was phenomenal between the sticks this season and also last season as well. Great bargain buy from Man City. We bought him for 18 million and he's only worth 19 now. He's worth way more than that in my opinion, probably because of his age. Still DeMarco, free transfer. Nice little buy there on a free. Wasn't going to say no to that. Wagnerman, one of our first ever signings of the save. Bought him in on episode 1. Safe to say it was worth the small fee we paid Hamburg for. He's up to 88 overall. He's one of my favourite fullbacks in this year's FIFA and also last year's FIFA as well, because his growth is phenomenal, but it's his weak foot and his versatility that makes him such an amazing player to have. He really is a brilliant defensive unit on either side of the flanks. Tyler Kerr came from PSG back in season 2, and he's been a pretty decent player for us, starting off as a starting CB alongside Pipe and now dropping to the bench, but a decent pickup. Jordan Serrano Riga was a good buy back in season 2. Pfeiffer barely plays nowadays, but still a squad player for us. Dardai, what a buy from Hertha Berlin. I should never have retrained him to holding mid. What was I thinking? I mean, yeah, he's a good passer of the ball, don't get me wrong, but this guy is a rock. He's a brick wall in the back line. I don't know why I played him at holding mid for a year or two. That was such a waste of time. He grew significantly when I trained him back to CB. Such a shame about the ACL because he was our highest rated player in the team before that. Now he's down to 88 overall. Amos Piper, though, the captain made him captain after Ortega departed. What a decision, man. This guy was so good. Really good. One of the Arminia Bielefeld originals. Not many left in this team, but Piper stayed with us all the way. Made him club captain. Great decision. Mukiele, brilliant signing from Bayern. As we know, towards the end of the season, after Dardai's injury, changed him from right back to centre back. But really, This guy can play all across the back four. He's got a 3-star weak foot, so he can fill in left back if needed, but with the defensive stats he's got, he's so solid at the back, but also he got 7 assists and really should have been credited with 2 goals this year. What a signing from Bayern Munich he was. Benjamin Henrichs, nice little squad player for us. Felix Agu, signed back in episode 1. Lost his place this season to Mukiele's arrival, but of course got back into the team after Dardai's injury. Such a great signing. Can play on both sides of the fullback position. Really great player. Konstantin Schäfer, our best youth player of the save. Mr. Consistent Iron Man. Rarely ever missed a game. In fact, was he our top player this year? He was. He played more games than anyone else. 50 this season. 50 games. Talk about Iron Man. This guy does not miss a game. Grew 6 ratings to 88 overall. And this year was incredible. 14 assists and 2 goals in 50 games. That's really impressive. 5 assists in 12 in the Champions League for Konstantin. Absolutely solid. As an anchor man in his team, he is just so good. I mean, his stats are incredible. And again, as a defensive midfielder, as an anchor man, protecting the back line, couldn't ask for anyone better. Became the new Philippe Lahm in this team, from right back to holding mid. What a position change. What a young career. He's only 21 and already become one of the best players in the world. Florian Neuhaus, signed from Mönchengladbach, thought was a club record fee of 61 mil at the start of last season. I was quite disappointed with him last year, but this year definitely picked it up. 6 goals and 9 assists in 32 Bundesliga games, up to 87 overall now. This was a really good second season. Finole Becker still here. 2 goals and an assist in 8 games. That's really impressive from the bench for our squad player. But I have to say, you talk about buys this season and who was the best. Can we give Suat Serdar some props, man? I mean, seriously. 6 goals and 4 assists in 13 Champions League games. I thought this guy as a squad player, he was brilliant. Started the Champions League fine, and rightfully so. He was amazing in Europe this year. Jonas Hoffmann, though, I love vets. I love signing 1 or 2 vets over the course of a series. He was my favourite. Bringing him in from Mönchengladbach after he was released at Borussia Park, and now down to 79 overall. He'd retire come the end of next season, I'm certain of it, but I couldn't have asked for a better freebie veteran dressing room leader. You know I loved him, and I loved him as much on FM as well. When am I starting that series, I wonder. Nikola Vlasic, club record signing this year, got us that incredible start, 6 goals in 4 Bundesliga games, calmed down a bit after that, but still, you wouldn't say no to his productivity this season. Won the assist title in the Bundesliga, 18 goals and 21 assists in 40 in all competitions, and a great record in the Champions League, growing to 86 overall as well. Messiah, my guy, Okugawa. 7 goals and 7 assists in 15 games. Barely played over the past couple of years due to injury and then falling down the pecking order. But he was our top scorer back in Season 1. He was my talisman for the first 2 or 3 years. Oh, Messiah. Injuries ruined Okugawa, but he still maintained a place in the squad. And every now and then was called upon. And whenever he was called upon, I mean, his efficiency speaks for itself. 7 and 7 in 15. Yeah, pretty impressive, isn't it? Josip Brekalo, the guy that single-handedly won us Europa League a couple of years ago. 7 goals and 3 assists in 26 games a year. Not quite as good as last season or the year before, but even so, a good backup for Nikola Vlasic. Patrick Wimmer lost his place in the first team and struggled to get it back. But one of the Season 1 and Bielefeld original, so glad he stayed here, growing to 82 overall. Ludwig grew so well, up to 84 overall at 21 years old, but of course now he's more of a bench player, but off the bench he's quite impressive. 7 goals and 7 assists in 22 games, most of which off the bench. That's quite impressive. This is the sort of player you want off the bench as well. High energy, hard worker, rapid pace and good technicals, a great dribbling and ball control. To run at tired legs off the bench, I can't tell you how important it is to have players like this in FIFA career mode. It's so important. Robin Hack, one of the Bielefeld originals and the best Bielefeld original, let's be honest here. 87 overall now, in the prime of his career at 27 years old. 16 goals and 16 assists in 47, most of which coming in the Bundesliga, of course. This guy, man, absolutely brilliant. He's been incredible since the very first season, and our best ever Bielefeld original that stayed all the way. Theo Hubner coming in on a free transfer back in Season 4. His productivity was not as good as I was hoping for, but to be fair, most of our players I was centred down the middle or down the left. But even so, grew a rating this year to 86 overall, 23 years old, and not a bad return either for a right winger in this team. But as for the forwards, Jamie Llewellyn, star of the team, 38 goals in 42 games, back-to-back Bundesliga Golden Boot winner, reaching 30 this season. He also chipped in with 12 assists in the league as well, and our top scorer in the Champions League with 8 in 7 as well, including, of course, the brace in the Champions League final to give us our first ever CL of all time. Yep. Not a bad signing from Firth back in Season 2, was it? Up to 86 overall now. And despite the injuries, to grow to 86 overall, that's really impressive. Had he not had those injuries, it'd probably be 88 or 89 overall now. He's been amazing. Karim Adeyemi, though, signed as a replacement of Colin Wine at the start of the season. Safe to say I made the right call. 20 in 31 plus 14 assists, only 24 and growing 3 ratings to 87. He's younger than Randall, he's now better than Randall, he had a better goal to game ratio than Randall, and his 7 goals and 5 assists in 4 DFB Pokal appearances speaks for itself. He's the reason why we won our first German Cup this season. What a piece of business, selling Colin Wine to Sociedad and replacing him with Karim. That was probably the best piece of business of the series. And Florian Kruger, still here. Bielefeld original, what could have been had he not done his ACL back in Season 1. Lost his place, then became a squad player who he barely used. Only 5 appearances all season long, but this guy, he's one of those squad strikers you just love. 3 goals in the 5 games. Yep, you love players like this. Rarely play, but whenever they do their job. Bielefeld original, just like the others, and we still love him. So one last look at the team management screen as well. If we were to carry on with Bielefeld, you asked the question, where would we improve? It would be hard to do this, but you'd probably say... Actually, no, you probably wouldn't. Actually, no, you probably would, let's be honest here. You'd drop Piper to the bench and start Dada alongside Mukiele, and you'd probably look for a world-class goalkeeper to replace Zach. It would be really hard to do that, though, because Zach won the Golden Glove. It's so hard to replace a player when they've come on the back of an amazing season. But if you're going off rating alone, and age as well, now that Zach's 31, you'd probably say that's the right thing to do. It would feel harsh, but yeah, Dada would start ahead of Piper in this team, and we'd replace Stefan with one of the best goalkeepers in the world. You know, if we got the budget, I'd probably bring in like a Gigi Donnarumma for the new season. Why not, right? But even so, it's an incredible team, and really it's just so hard to improve upon. Most players now are entering their peaks, or they're in their primes right now. And perhaps you could say the bench get a little bit stronger, maybe through the middle of the park there. But really, it's just an incredible team. Some amazing youngsters came out of the academy as well. Of course, Schaefer and Ludwig being the absolute best. But even so, I love this Bielefeld team. I love how we built it. I love how we assembled it. I love the nice mix of players in terms of age and ability as well. And also I love the core of this team that sort of grew up together, you know, from Season 1, Piper, Wagnerman, Agu, Schaefer, Robin, and Llewellyn was Season 2 to be fair. But even so, the core of this team that all grew was really, really cool. And so much of it was German as well. You know, I love to sign those players that are the same nationality as the club. Such an awesome Bielefeld team. I had such fun building this squad. It was really, really cool. So I'm going to show you the other leagues around the world and show you who did what this season. As I always say, take these tables with a pinch of salt. Chelsea were crowned champions this season. Man City runners up with Liverpool and Manchester United going into the Champions League for next season. Aston Villa, though, breaking up the top 6. Fair play to them. Where were... Oh, they were 5th. I was going to say, where was Spurs for a second there? I didn't see Spurs. I was like, what? Where are they? I didn't see them there. 5th place. Good finish for them, to be fair. For a second, I totally missed them. Championship was won by Fulham this year, Norwich in 2nd, and the playoffs contested by the Blades, Nottingham Forest, West Brom, and Derby County as well this season. Millwall are in League 1. How'd they get on? That's League 2, mate. Well done. How'd they get on in League 1? Yeah, playoffs. Okay, we'll take that. But even so, that's League 1. And this is the final league in the English football pyramid again. Go on, Newport County. Heading into the playoffs. Go on, Newport. Get yourselves up to League 1, lads. Start the revolution now. Unsurprisingly, Ligue 1 was won by Paris Saint-Germain, winning it by 10 points this season. As per usual, always dominant French football in the game, and as we see mostly in real life as well. The second tier of the Bundesliga, Dusseldorf won it this year, and Hamburg will be coming up as well. Schalke would play the relegation playoff for next season. Very interesting indeed. Now for the free league as well. How did Freiburg's reserves get on in the end? Where were Freiburg's reserves? That's what I want to know. Where were they? There we are, mid-table, 12th place. I can't believe we had them in the DFB Pokal quarters. As for the Serie A this season, AC Milan, who we knocked out in the Champions League last 16, were champions. Juve did finish in third. Inter never recovered. Oh, wow, they didn't finish in the top 10. Inter this year finished in 11th place. That's a crazy low finish for Inter Milan. PSV pipped Ajax to the Dutch league this season, winning it by 4 goals. What a tight division it was this year in the top tier of the Netherlands. As for the Liga Portugal, Porto were crowned champions with Benfica as runners-up this time around. It's normally always Porto or Benfica in my saves, and at the very, very rare times it might be Sporting Lisbon. As for the Scottish Premier League, Rangers were crowned champions, 10 points clear of Celtic, their old firm rivals in the end. And as for La Liga in Spain, Real Madrid crowned champion, 6 points clear of their Madrid rivals Atletico. Barca finishing in third, and Real Sociedad, Kolo Muani firing them into the Champions League, finishing 4th place. Go on, Randall, getting Real Sociedad into the Champions League for next season. And I'll do a couple more whilst I'm here as well. Let's do the Turkish League, the Super League. That was won by Galatasaray, 2 points clear of Trabzonspor in the Turkish League. And as for the MLS, which always is not finished at this time of the season, it's just started really. Portland Timbers are off to the start this year with 6 wins in 8 and currently top of the MLS in America. Oh, that went around. There was a few more teams there, I didn't realise. So just before we go, I want to show you a few world stars in football, where they are, if they've retired, and what they currently look like. Cristiano Ronaldo has not retired. Oh, is this his final season? This must be his final season, surely. I thought he retired. 41. 95 jumping at 41. Unbelievable. Technically fantastic still, and he's not retiring. Oh my god. How? Well, I mean, Bielefeld next year. That's it. I thought he'd retired. 41. Still at Manchester United, but had a contract in the summer. Yeah, I think I'll take him. We know Messi's still here. 38 years old, 79 rated now, Lionel Messi. And he's got no plans to retire either. Messi and Ronaldo continuing their careers in their late 30s and early 40s in Ronaldo's case. Let's take a look at Neymar. Let's go over a couple more PSG players. Neymar still here at 34 years old, now down to 84 overall, but still fantastic. Nowhere near as quick as he used to be, but technically still absolutely sublime. And as we know, Kylian Mbappe, one of the highest rated players in the game at this point now. In fact, I think he would be considered the highest rated player at 95 overall. He always grows to 95 and then stops unless you have him in your team. But the guy is just a physical beast and technically deadly. I mean, he's amazing. Kylian Mbappe. Where is he going in the summer, guys? Where is he going? 95 overall, 27 years old, prime of his career, still at PSG in the game. So I'm just going to do a few more wonder kids in this save, and then we'll end after the My Career section. Erling Haaland is still at Borussia Dortmund, as we know, 94 overall, 25 years old. He tore me apart in the early seasons, but I eventually started to slow him down. But, I mean, how would you slow someone down with 99 sprint speed? And it's 6'4". I've mentioned before, I truly believe Haaland has the potential to become one of the greatest strikers of our generation. And I mean that as well, because if you look at Haaland's makeup, actually Gianluigi, if you look at Haaland's makeup, he like is just like the blueprint of like the perfect footballer. I mean, he's 6'4", he's ridiculously strong, he's absolutely rapid, he's composed, he's been composed since his days at Mulder, you know, when he was a teenager, and you know, he's got a fantastic goal to game ratio in 3 different countries at such a young player. And he's technically incredible with the ball. I mean, you know, to me, I know it sounds like I'm fanboying over Haaland, and perhaps I am, but I really do believe he is one of the best young strikers in world football. And this is no knock to any of the other incredible strikers in world football, because there are so many of them right now. As we know, I talked about it before, it's such an exciting time to be a football fan with the incredible young wonder kids out there, you know. And I think for me, Haaland is probably my favourite to watch, and my favourite to keep an eye on as well, because I really do believe there is no limit to his potential. I think the only thing that stops Haaland becoming one of the absolute greats is himself, because he's got all the makeup, he's got all the genetics, he's got everything, you know. If he continues with a strong work ethic and the quest to push himself and get better and better, there's no limit to the guy, man. I mean, seriously. Anyway, moving forward, a few more youngsters here. We've got Pedri. Where's Pedri? And João Felix as well. Pedri's probably still at Barcelona at this point. Yeah, oh, he's at Wolves now? Okay, all right. Well, I mean, I didn't really expect that. But okay, fair enough. 90 rated at Molineux. Their long-term success for Ruben Neves. Not a bad one, is it? Where's João Felix? Now, João Felix normally either stays at Atletico or moves on to Liverpool in my saves. What's he done this time? Nope, he's still at Atletico. Fair enough, 91 overall, 26 years old. Absolutely phenomenal. I've got to show you Ruben Dias, though, because he scored against me twice in these 2 seasons. He is one of the absolute... He's not there. He is one of the absolute best centre-backs in the world. I talked about it before. I am such a massive fan of this guy. And his signings that Guardiola's made, to me, he's one of the absolute, if not the best. He's exceptional. We'd also do Kai Havertz as well. I'd imagine he's probably still at Chelsea at this point, at 26 years old. He is indeed a 92 overall. Let's do Vinicius next and see where the Real Madrid youngster is. Probably still at Real Madrid. You will notice in this year's FIFA that most of the high potential stars, if they're at big clubs, don't move on. They'll normally stay. Like 1 or 2 might do. I mean, we've seen Pedri at Wolves, for example, but for the most part, the majority decide to stay where they are. We'll do a few more. We'll do Florian Wirtz, we'll do Ansu Fati, we'll do Jude Bellingham, and I might possibly leave it at that. But let's do Florian Wirtz, who stood at Bayer Leverkusen in the game, 23 years old. He hasn't moved on either. I, of course, wanted to sign him in this team for this season. Unfortunately, due to the strict negotiations I'm playing on, I couldn't pull it off, which is so frustrating. I think from now on, I'm probably going to do loose negotiations, because I mentioned before, it doesn't even change that much. But it does mean you can't sign players to 86 rated or higher. As Bellingham's gone from Dortmund to Bayern. How about that? So it's ironic, but playing on strict negotiations makes the transfer market more unrealistic, you know? It's crazy. But let's do Gravenberch as well, another good young centre mid from Ajax. He's probably moved on to about Liverpool in this sale, I'd say. No, he's at Villarreal now. Wow, okay. Gravenberch at Villarreal, interestingly enough, and we'll also do, let's do Fati, we know where Chiesa is, let's do Fati, De Ligt, and maybe 1 or 2 more as well. Wow, oh yeah, I remember now, I remember seeing this, Ansu Fati is now at Aston Villa. Steven Gerrard pulled off a worldie. Fair enough, 23 years old at Aston Villa. Can you imagine Aston Villa versus Wolves, Ansu Fati versus Pedri? Don't think anyone could ever predict that happening in real life. But hey, you never know, right? Let's do Ferran Torres next. Although we know he's still at Manchester City, as we know he's incredible. Not moved back to Barcelona, but instead still at the Etihad. 90 overall. Absolutely exceptional. Of course, played against him this season with some extraordinary stats. He is such a great young talent. I do think he's better out on the wing as opposed to through the middle as well. And I'll do one more. Let's do Matthias de Ligt as well. The young Dutch centre-half at Juve. Is he still there or has he moved on? 26 years old. No, he's still at Juventus. 90 overall. So there are some of the best wonder kids in world football. Where they are, some shocks there, but a lot of them also staying with their current clubs. Oh, you know who should have done? Camavinga. Do you know what? Sorry, let's do one more just before I leave. Camavinga. I know he's still at Real Madrid, but I want to show you his stats as well. He is such a fantastic young talent, isn't he? Oh, you are... Oh my god. Can I, just before I move on to the final part of today's episode, can I just take a look at Wolves' team? What a midfield! Oh my god! Leno between the sticks, now a veteran, but fair enough. Their back line, like Nuri is still there and has grown to 85 overall. Johnny's still there. Have they got like a star? Vinagre is now 84 overall. Calais Takar has moved there as well. But Camavinga and Pedri through the middle of the park at Molineux. This is a Wolves fan's wet dream. Who's up top for them have they got up top? They've got Lozano's there, but he's now 30 years old. Matthias is there as their replacement for Real Jimenez. And Doniel Malen has moved there as well. Goodness. That's interesting. That's pretty cool. Wow. So we'll end the series then with one final look at my career City objectives this season. I smashed it this year. How is my manager rating only 82? Bielefeld bored. What more do you want from me? Do you want my soul as well? Come on, man. But we'll end with the my career section with Arminia Bielefeld and one final look at how the series went. Back in season 1, it was a tough one, but we did what we needed to do. We laid down the ground groundwork in Season 1 and ended up finishing in 8th place in what was a tough opening season, but it wasn't that bad, though we did lose most of our games. In Season 2, that was when we were so close to pulling off an incredible Champions League finish. In the end, we had to settle for Europa League, but that was more than good enough for me. And Season 3 was where we came on leaps and bounds. There's always one season in an RTG where you make the most progression, and for me, it's ordinarily either Season 3 or Season 4. In this series, it was Season 3. We won the Europa League, and we finished in the top 4, and only missed out on the title on the final day. And I'll be honest, I bottled the title. I could have won it, and in the end, I had an 8-point lead during the season, and in the end, I lost 2 of my final 3 games, and that cost me the title. That was an absolute bottle job, that one. But Season 4 was brilliant as well. Once again, we had a great season in the league. This was the year we won our first Bundesliga, and also made a big signing, Florian Neuhaus. Knocked out in the last 16 in the Champions League, but for Season 5, it's not fully complete, it's not ended the season. But as we know, treble winners this season. The Bundesliga, the DFB Pokal, and the Champions League as well. Just a fantastic season with fantastic transfer business, and the only negative in what was my most dominant season of FIFA career mode ever was bottling the points record. Everything else was absolutely perfect. But that will end today's episode and the series finale of the Bundesliga career mode, guys. I want to say a massive thank you for watching the episode and this series as a whole. It's been fantastic. It's been brilliant. We almost had the perfect season and my most perfect season of FIFA career mode ever. It wasn't to be, but it was still an amazing ending to an amazing series. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed. If you had, please drop a like. Much love to you all, and I won't see you for the next episode very soon, but I'll see you for a new career mode very soon. On the weekend, I'll be beginning a brand new project. Look forward to it. I'm very excited. Hope you guys as well. Saturday morning, 11 or possibly 10 a.m. UK time, and my new series will begin. Have a great day, guys. Much love, and I'll see you for a brand new career mode very soon.